and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Thank you for staying the course, everyone. Please put your hands together for yourselves. A very vibrant audience that we have. So just 30 seconds, your name, your designation, and your question. Please go ahead.
All right. So my name is Daniel. I'm a final year student of the University of Lagos. And I'd like to say first that perhaps if you're finding it too difficult to define who a Nigerian is, maybe we can start by asking who a Nigerian is not. And my question as well goes thus. I'm passionate about my country, Nigeria. However, since I've been born, it's sad that I've only watched the country, get worse year after year. So why would I, rather stay in a country where I'm still struggling to find my identity, to define who it is or what it is to be a Nigerian, than perhaps go somewhere, and I'm saying this because of the whole issue, the joke about the $100 million, right? Then go somewhere where I have the liberty to be who I really want to be. And I think this is the question that a lot of us, young people are also asking, and why we would take flight at every opportunity that we find. So why would I rather not do that and, stay back here if, as I've seen over time, things have just continued to get worse and worse. So yes.
All right. Next person, your name, your designation, and your question. Please go ahead. The lady in black.
Hello, my name is Yomi Sikiru Habiba, and I am a 300 level student of mass communication in the University of Lagos. So my question, I'm just going to go straight forward to my question. I want to ask what role education and civic engagement can play in promoting a shared sense of nationhood and citizenship.
Can you take that again and raise your voice a little so we can hear you?
Okay. I'm going to go straight to the question.
Yeah.
My question is, what role can education and civic engagement play in promoting both a shared sense of nationhood and citizenship?
All right. Next person, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Oluwagbami by name.
You have to raise your voice so we can hear you from here.
Are you shy?
Are you shy?
No, sir.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay, so I am Oluwagbami David by name, a student of University of Lagos, 200 level mass communication. So my question goes as thus. Why is it that after getting or attaining independence, we have not been able, we've been going from grass to grace or grace to grass. Every year, it is supposed to be better, but it seems we are going downward in the slope and in the chart. Do you feel neo-colonialism is affecting us in any way? That's my question.
All right.
Thank you.
Next person.
Hello. My name is Princess Joseph. I am a recent alumnus of the University of Lagos and an author. I have two questions and I'll be quick about it. I was born in Nigeria, and because I love Nigeria, I would love to be Nigerian long enough to have my children identify as Nigerians. Now, one of the factors that, bring about the spur of division is the seeming lack of equity in governance. I'm Igbo. And whilst we've had over 16 presidents in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we've had lesser Igbo presidents than any other tribe. What structures can we put in politics, or in democracy that ensures that every tribe is served equally as one? And then two, I bought the second business last week and I paid the total sum of 130,000 naira minus charges to register the business. And the first business I registered, I was 3 years ago. I paid, I think, a total sum of 25,000 naira minus legal charges to register that particular business. Now, it's not new that there's inflation in the economy. The prices are high. I recently got a property in Ibadan, and I found that the price for fencing, the 10-acre property had skyrocketed in comparison to the ones that I fenced 3 years ago. What policies can we put in business that seem to serve Nigerians? It just feels like I have a country that feels comfortable.
Policies to put in business to serve Nigerians. I think we got the
please.
question. Let's have
Thank you.
Let's have, yes, your name and your question.
My name is Oluwaseun. I'm a PhD student at University of Lagos. My question is simple. We have been talking about the Nigeria identity and creating a Nigeria identity. We talk about the cultured America, the cultured UK, and this directly to the National Orientation Agency because they have that responsibility. What is the Nigerian National Orientation Agency doing to make sure that we have a cultured Nigeria? What policies and how are you working with the presidency? Because like we all know, I'm a PR specialist. Like we all know, it is not just about narratives alone. The narratives will take you far. But what are the policies that NOA is advising the presidency to take? And how are they taking it? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for them. Let's see how far we can go with this. The first one has to do with why do I stay in Nigeria if I'm still struggling to find myself? A lot of Nigerians, like Kadaria mentioned, leave the country and then they become so productive and so patriotic. Do you think it's a mindset thing, or you think the system there is actually more favorable?
You know, sometimes I wish that young people could have the opportunity to travel outside of Nigeria first on excursion and look at those countries, you know, that they wish to go and let them decide whether they want to come to Nigeria or not. I bet that many want to come back to Nigeria. And I'm telling you this.
After visiting other countries.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
They don't seem to agree with you, though.
They may not agree. But they by and by, many of them who have the opportunity to travel, many of the people that have succeeded, you know, going overseas, are not necessarily people who get educated in Europe or America. Many of them get educated here. Many of the doctors that are being recruited out of Nigeria got educated in Nigeria. Look at the manpower loss.
Properly educated.
Educated here.
So what do you think the problem is, and how do we fix it?
The problem is that, you know, our country is going through a great deal of economic hardship and stress. And a lot of people are escapist about it. Think that once they get out of the country, life will get better. Doctors, professionals, bankers sell all that they have just to emigrate. Only for some of them to get there and think that, no, it's not green on it like that. So I think that we can continue to talk about fixing our country.
All right.
Opportunities are still in Nigeria. Many of them untapped. Okay?
That's
and I think that the more we fix our society, the more our society will become more welcome to young people who will no longer be restive about traveling out of the country. No, just as an example, an uncle. And that's it. You say it here. You see a lot of Nigerians going overseas, elite, to buy property, to buy houses. How many foreign leaders do you see, parliamentarians, anybody do you see come to Nigeria to buy property in Nigeria? Just start from there.
Mr. Ikewa, what role can education and civic engagement play in promoting a shared sense of nationhood?
Well, basically, education should be the major catalyst for socialization, helping citizens, helping indigents understand the dynamics and the mechanics of how their country works. And it should be designed, the system, the curriculum should be designed in such a way that it helps citizens to actually love their country, to pledge an allegiance to their country. But what we found out in the Nigerian situation is that the system itself seems to be very, very parochial. The admission processes, for instance, could be parochial. You find situations whereby people are admitted on the basis of, you know, where they come from, like Kadaria loved to say, and to an extent, in some areas, on the basis of who they know. But we can't run away from the fact that we have committed educators in Nigeria. And I would tell you that all my education up to the doctorate level has been in Nigeria. And I can tell you for sure that Nigeria is the best place to get the best education anywhere in the world.
All right. Awesome. So Kadaria, you had...
I would want to just, take a cue back to what...
In a minute if you can.
Yeah, in a minute.
Yes.
Why do we... Okay, I think it's you that asked the question. Why do we have professionals, leaving this country? Why do we have the best of our doctors leaving this country? And I was in the General Hospital about last week. I won't tell you why. Maybe I'll tell you that behind the doors. And I was able to observe a lot of Nigerian doctors. And these people work night and day round the clock to save lives, to give life and all of that. And I asked myself, are these the people, when you convert the basis or when you convert the value of their salaries, that the country is paying some $200, $300 every month? And I was moved to tears. I think the real problem why a lot of Nigerians are leaving, and I hope that we can take this message back to Abuja, is that the reward and compensation system in Nigeria is skewed. We need to have our people properly rewarded and compensated for all the education they have gotten and for all the hard work they do.
And just to put it in the right perspective, I don't think it's just doctors, right? I think that...
lecturers are leaving, but I'm not leaving. At least I'm not leaving yet.
I'm talking about the welfare. Yes. Well, I thought you said you were older than living before.
So that brings us to the Nigerian paradox.
All right, let's move to the next
Good things
question.
are happening in Nigeria, and some not too good things are happening.
Kadaria.
So we must be able to reconcile the good and not too good, so that these younger ones coming behind can say Nigeria, we hail thee, and give their best to Nigeria and become more altruistic than they are individualistic.
The question
Until
here
we get to that point,
yes.
Well,
is new colonialism affecting us?
I believe, and I'm going to sort of take a leap, the answer is yes. We are caught up in shifting geopolitics. I genuinely believe that one of the reasons why insecurity has become as bad as it has in Nigeria has a lot to do with the killing of Gaddafi by the United States. That opened the floodgates into the Sahel. We have arms now uncontrollably traveling through the Sahel. And we have borders with so many countries, right? And which is why I am really worried about this country. And I keep talking, even if we were all united and pushing, this will be a very difficult time. So imagine trying to fight both internal and external problems when your heads are scattered. And this is why I get really angry with people who push out identity politics that are based on either tribe or religion or whatever. Because what you are essentially doing is you're weakening yourself and you're allowing things that you should be facing together to actually come and divide you. Congo is not too far from where northern Nigeria is at the moment, because we have everything. Africa as a continent is rich. You guys, you don't understand. We have everything. We can trade with ourselves and we'll be fine. We don't need America. We don't need Europe. We don't even need everything that we need to build a good life for our people is on this continent. We've been blessed with it. But somehow, we are trading more with people overseas than we are with our neighbors next door. And it's deliberate. The divide and rule tactic is a tactic that has been enjoyed by colonialists for a very long time. And we're entering a new phase. Alliances are changing. People are shifting. I think we're at the beginning of the end of empire. I think we're seeing the pains of a collapsing empire, which is the United States. And it's going to take a lot of people down with it, because history has told us that that is what happens. So even if we were organized and together, we will feel some of this pain. But imagine the consequences for a people who keep fighting themselves.
All right. That's our time. There are 3 more questions. I'm just going to read them out, and I'll see what you can make of them in 2 minutes. We talked about ethnic divides. And then there's a lady in the audience who is saying she's noticed there have been lesser Igbo presidents in our history. What can we do about that? She talked about policy in business that can serve Nigerians better. And then what is your agency doing to have a cultured Nigeria?
Thank you very much. There's enough blame to go around if we want to continue to talk about blame. So, but we realized that 2 years ago that the first thing we need to do in Nigeria is to first do away with all these superficial issues of I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm whatever. So, but how do we become, that nation that we all look forward to? We studied what has happened over the decades since independence, and we studied what is going on in other parts of the world. Why do they have culture? I'll throw something to the audience. You watch movies, right? Has any of you watched an American movie where America lost in that movie? If you have one, whether they are fighting the Arabs, the Russia, or people from space, America will win. Why? It is ingrained in their system. They say they are exceptional. So even as a movie maker, when you are writing your script, it is there in you that America cannot lose in the movie. That's the way you nurture people.
Actors don't die.
Mentality. So what did we do? We invited people from different sectors of the society, the youth, the people from the academia, the civil society, women, and we for over 6 months did all this study and came up with what we call the Nigerian Identity Project. So the Nigerian Identity Project is expressed through what we call the National Values Charter, because we know the issue with us is value erosion. In those days, in this country, you may not have read it in any book. In this same country, and that applies to every culture, in a community, as a farmer, you put your produce by the side of the road, use some trees to indicate the prices, and then you go back to the farm. And passerby will pick the required number and give the exact amount there for you. This same country, this same Nigeria, where we care for ourselves. Somebody alluded to when a youth misbehave, the whole of community, handle that. Indeed. So we came up with National Value Charter. A charter is an agreement. Agreement between the leaders and the followers. We found out, as Kadaria has said, that over the years, it has always been sacrifice, pointing towards the citizens. What about the leaders? So we felt it takes two to tango. But you cannot say leaders cannot do it alone without the followers. And followers cannot change Nigeria without the leaders. So the two sides must come to the table and be committed to that. Right. So that's why it's a charter. That's why it's an agreement. And so...
You have 1 more minute.
Okay, so we have what we call the Nigerian Promise. I'll share the document before I leave this place, when we finish the program. So we have the Nigerian Promise, just like we have the American Dream, just as we have the Ubuntu Declaration in South Africa, just as we have the Kesin of Japan. So we have the Nigerian Promise. What does this country promise all of us? It must be spelled out. So when you come to me as the DG of NOA, you can hold me responsible on those parameters and say you are not a good Nigerian because 1, 2, 3 things are missing in you, and it is already there as part of our identity system. So we also have what we call the citizen codes. That is the code of conduct that you expect from Nigerian citizens. It is well defined. So when somebody is taken to the hospital, because he has to apply that code, he must respond as a human being, not just because there is law. If you go to the police station, you get that duty of care in the police station because they are human beings and they are Nigerians and they have a responsibility towards you. So we have all of this, and we took it to the Federal Executive Council last year, and with the leadership of the president, every single item was approved. And if you listen, just a month ago, the first item, because after you create like I refer to Bible or Quran, after you have the Bible or Quran for Christianity and Islam, you must also have the churches and the mosque where you are going to nurture adherents. So you must have institutions in the country where Nigerians are nurtured on the values system that we have created. So these institutions are 7 of them, and they were all approved by the Federal Executive Council. One of it is what he referred to as education. Those days we have civic education, now we don't have. Now, in this new academic session, it is now compulsory in Nigeria for you from primary 1 to end of your primary school, secondary school, and when you're doing your general study in the university, you learn about what it means to be a Nigerian. So a new subject has been introduced, and it's kicking off this September. To
I think we clap to that. We have to anchor it now. We have to go down.
Please, let me just write it off. So that is one of the 7 things that have been created. So every Nigerian, no matter what route you are taking up, you meet the institution that is nurturing you. Somebody said things are getting worse all the time. you know, about the person who said he has a reason to want to leave the country because things keep getting worse. I would say no, it is not true. You are a student of the University of Lagos. I also graduated from the University of Lagos.
All right.
When I was in school, I would go to Bariga, which is not far from the school, to pick up what they call West African Law Report from the publisher and put it on my head and trek all the way from Bariga to Lagos Island, from chamber to cell, so that I could sustain myself in school. If I had student loan that time, I would not have suffered that much.
It seems we're going to have to bring back Mr. Onilu for this conversation. But we have to wrap it there. Can we put our hands together for my panelists? Larry Onilu, Director General, National Orientation Agency; Kadaria Ahmed, veteran journalist, media entrepreneur; Jitio Ogunye, seasoned legal practitioner; Kenneth Akenwa, lecturer at the University of Lagos. Once again, can we put our hands together for them? Thank you so much. Tonight, we ask a simple question, simple but profound. Who was a Nigerian at 65? We've seen that identity is not just about a passport or constitution. It is beyond that. It is about dignity, belonging, and also the kind of quality service that we receive from leadership. The people who danced on the streets in 1960 believed they were building a nation worth celebrating. 65 years later, the task is unfinished. But as we've heard today, it's not impossible. Whether through law, storytelling, or leadership, the challenge before us is to build a Nigeria where being a citizen is not a burden, but a badge of honor. And that's the work of today. It's a work for all of us. This has been the Independence Day edition of the TVC Town Square series. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Nifebi Ogutoye. I want to say a big thank you to our vibrant audience. A round of applause for yourselves. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. We'll see you again soon. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. Saz, thank you for coming.